Yay! Welcome in the DNVR Avalanche podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge and powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships, presented by Bet365. We got AJ and Rudo coming to you live on Friday for a mailbag day. We'll get into a bunch of questions that y'all submitted. Before we jump into all of that, though, we do have some news of the day, starting with the Avs news, which is very minimal, but Jared Bednar says Yoel Kiviranta could play as soon as tomorrow, so it does seem like the Avs dodged the injury bullet from yesterday's game, so that's always nice when the Avs can be a little bit healthier. You do like that. And no real other news to report on the Avs side of things, but the Edmonton Oilers finally did the thing everyone was telling them to do. They traded for a goalie. They go get Tristan Jarry. It's a goalie swap with Stuart Skinner going the other way. Brett Kulak also goes the other way, as well as a second in 2029 because picks are made up and nothing matters. Or not a second. I don't know. Some pick in 2029.
Yeah, second.
It is a second? All right, cool. And then who is it coming back the other way? Forward comes back the other way. Poirier? That doesn't sound right.
Sam Poulin.
Poulin, thank you. Thank you for solving all that for me. Either way, the important part of this, is Edmonton better with Tristan Jarry?
Yeah, just because he's not Stuart Skinner.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
Tristan Jarry's been really good
yeah.
for the Pens this year. He's been a big part of their surprise. They needed to do something, and unlike last year, there weren't a lot of really good options out there.
True.
So, and this is one that they could afford both in trade and contract wise.
Yeah.
And like Jordan Binnington
has been
is kind of a tough one.
Bad. Yeah.
Right. He's just been so bad. And he's expensive, and the Blues would have wanted a lot for him. And he's got such a explosive personality that
Canada media maybe not so good. Yeah.
Right. Where it's like, this is the guy that you need to like pull you out of it. I don't know about that, but once he catches fire, he's one of the best.
Sure.
So tough spot. Tristan Jarry, I don't trust him. I don't know anybody would.
Yeah. Especially not behind that Edmonton defense.
Like this was a guy that was in the AHL a year ago.
Yep.
And it's not it's funny because I think what Colorado did with its goaltending is going to make GMs go, I can do that.
Yeah, right.
Like, I've got to make a move. I've got to do something. Look what happened for them. And it's not like the Avs went out and got two guys at the peak of their value. Blackwood was probably peak of his value.
Yeah.
Wedgwood
certainly
might have been at the nadir of his value. And then they turn it around in Colorado and it has gone exceedingly well, but that is far and away the exception to the rule.
Yes.
But I do think it's fair for the Oilers to say, look, we needed to do something. We just needed to do something.
I agree.
They did it. What I don't understand is Brett Kulak makes them worse.
Right. Their defense was already bad. Like
they also got Spencer Stastny from Nashville, who's fine.
Yep.
But Brett Kulak has been kind of an analytics darling, one of the secrets to their success over the last couple of years. Had been significantly worse this year relative to previous seasons, but still decent.
I just struggle, and like totally, Edmonton had to make a move and goal. Realistically, they probably should have made a move and goal a year ago, but they didn't. The problem now is does it even matter who they put in goal if their defense doesn't improve? Because you look at that Avs situation, and the Avs defense was, if not best in the league last year, it's certainly a top 10 defense. So bringing in some goaltenders to play behind that was not a huge ask for them, whereas Jari might be about to be in trouble behind Edmonton.
Yeah, well, and we've seen Jari go through his own extended stretches of, oh my gosh, this guy is locked in, and oh my gosh, this guy is going to go on waivers and nobody's going to touch him.
Right.
So this is truly I have no idea. Nobody has any idea. It wasn't super expensive for the Oilers, like a 2029 second.
Yeah.
They have their first round picks in 2027 and 2028 and 2029. They also have all of their second round picks for the next 3 seasons.
Yep.
So it's not like this was an asset they had to move.
Yeah, right.
Like they don't really have any meaningful prospects. They're kind of like right there with Colorado, where it's like very low.
They all graduated.
Pipeline. Yeah. Or they've traded them all. Like there's not much left in the pipeline. But I'm saying it's like not that expensive of a deal from a standpoint of if it works, it's not that expensive. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't work, like you don't have another Brett Kulak to turn around and then move. Like Spencer Stastny's not going to move the needle for you in that way.
Yeah, I agree.
And they gave up a third round pick for that. So they lose a second, they lose a third, and they lose a guy off of their blue line to replace him and then get a goaltender who has played well this year.
Yeah.
Goalies are goalies. Who knows?
Right.
Like nobody with any confidence can be like, I know how this is going to go.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're not wrong. Edmonton's defense is going to have to do a better job. Otherwise, they're putting Tristan Jarry into a firing squad and hoping he doesn't get shot.
Unlikely.
Right. Exactly. You're like, odds are against this going well. But it's going to start with the defense, except the defense got a little bit worse today. So,
well, I mean, Edmonton can just continue to be the ultimate test of can you outscore your problems. So,
yeah,
we'll see. That's it for the news. We can jump into our mailbag a little bit here. I did have one question from the DNVR Discord. Shout out to all the homies on there. You can become a diehard and get access to that if you want to hang out with us. This one coming from Blake. Would love if you guys could talk about what the Avs struggle with when they're having a rare off night outside of the power play.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is the Avalanche are the best team in the league in part because of how they play with the puck.
Yeah.
They are what has been different about this season is they are not a rush first, rush second, rush last team.
Yeah.
They have been one of the league's most effective cycle teams on top of it. And when they are not managing the puck well, to be a rush team, you need to manage the puck well starting from the back end. You need to have defenders that can make aggressive breakout passes. You have to have forwards that are able to make 2 passes in a row to try and get you through the neutral zone with speed, with possession, which stretches out the defense and causes teams to play rush defense, which nobody's great at. That is the Avs at their best. When they struggle, that is where, a lot of people love to talk about, oh, well, Pete DeBoer and these teams, they just want to clog up the neutral zone. And it's sort of true, but it's more what those teams are doing isn't so much clogging up the neutral zone as it is they are playing, they're playing back into the neutral zone, and they're sending a guy forward to just get a stick on a puck. They're trying to live off of counterattacking, not creating their own rush chances. Not go back and watch the series win, Dallas over Colorado, and maybe don't sanity, but thinking back to it, Dallas doesn't score many goals on the rush.
Yeah,
they do a lot of it on counterattacking. Now, under Galutsin, it's going to be a little bit different, but this is how it was last year.
Yeah.
And why we're talking about DeBoer, even though he's not coaching a team right now, is because that's the one that has flummoxed the Avalanche most consistently over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically they just want to sit back and they want to counterattack and counterattack and counterattack. They're saying, we're going to let you beat yourself and we're going to try and win games 3-2. We're fine giving up the chances. We're fine. We believe in our goaltender. We're going to try and lock it down in the defensive zone by standing in the middle of the ice. We're going to block a million shots. The Tampa Bay Lightning won 2 Stanley Cups doing this exact same thing.
Yep.
We're gonna stand in the middle of the ice and we're going to block a lot of shots and we're going to counterattack relentlessly. And we're going to try and win low-scoring games. That's the smartest way to do it, because if you try and we saw it last night with Florida.
Yeah.
Now, Florida, there are so many caveats to last night.
Of course.
That's 60% of their roster, maybe 60% of it might
with
be like
60% of their legs.
roster.
Yeah.
Right. And on tired legs. And they tried to get into a bit of a track meet with the Avalanche. And guess what happened? You can't do that. If you try and skate with Colorado, they will beat you.
Certainly need a better goalie than Tarasov in that if you're going to try that. Yeah.
They will be. Oh man, was he bad last night? So what teams do when the Avalanche are struggling, what teams can really do to lean on them is take advantage of the puck management issues by Colorado, because they will make some silly mistakes. They have a lot of lower IQ players that will just,
especially in their own zone, the puck management gets bad when they're bad. Yeah.
And that's where it starts, because they want to play with so much speed that they're not trying to dump it out and go and chase it in the corner very often. They want to their first option is to play with speed, to play with possession through the neutral zone. To do that, you need to make 1 or 2 passes. You need to play connected hockey. 5 players have to play as a single unit, not as 5 individual players. And that's where the Avalanche struggle the most, is when they are not a cohesive unit, they fall apart. Now, not all teams are built like that. To the extent that the Avalanche are, it's why their system is challenging. It's why players take a little bit longer to adapt to it, because there's a lot of, okay, well, we need to move as one. And when they struggle, that's where it comes from. That's the real genesis of it, is their puck management is bad and they get really stubborn.
Yep, puck management is definitely on that list. I would say when they struggle, I think goaltending is a mark to knock down as well. Not that the Avs goaltending has been bad this year; it's been really good. But in the stretches that we've seen of the Avs struggle more than just one random off game, early in the year their losing streak, Scott Wedgwood basically imploded. Right, he had been playing great and then played pretty much 3 bad games in a row. Mackenzie Blackwood came back and knocked off the rust with a couple of tough games as well. It's interesting because the Avs goaltending, it feels marginally like Georgiev used to feel when he was good, where they either play great or they play poorly. They don't really have a ton of average games from their goaltending. Not a problem that I think needs fixing, but I do think it is worth noting. Part of the recipe for their losses. Yeah.
And that's the recipe for a lot of teams' losses.
For sure. And then the default, if you get the Avalanche into overtime in the regular season, you're probably going to beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just true. We've seen the Avalanche start to pluck up a little bit in actual overtime, but then you get them to a shootout.
It's death. Yeah, it's over.
It's shocking how bad the Avs are in a shootout. Like, I don't even think if they made it 8 rounds, I don't feel like the Avs would fare any better. They'd still be 0-4. It's both of them. They're not getting a lot of saves in the shootout, but they're scoring no goals. Like, it doesn't even... They got... Well, Nashville, I think, scored 1 goal in the shootout.
Avs went 0-3.
You were totally covered. As soon as O'Reilly came down and scored the first time, you were like, this is done.
Yep. You knew right away. No solutions there for the Avs other than in the playoffs, there is no shootout and overtime's 5-on-5. So we do need to take our first break of the show. So let's shout out a couple of our sponsors here. You know the moment, the one you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach, or maybe it was on the roof of your car, or that gas station a couple states away. Well, I've certainly been there. I forget my sunglasses all over the place. But then I found Shady Rays, and I still forget my sunglasses, but that's just not a problem anymore. The Shady Rays sunglasses are made for real life. They're seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. But most importantly, if you lose them, you break them, or you just don't like them, on day 1 or on day 30. For the first 30 days, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So get yourself over to shadyrays.com. Actually wear your sunglasses instead of worrying about losing them when you've got them on you. Whether it's at concerts, on the boat, wherever you might be, Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR to get 35% off any pair of polarized sunglasses from Shady Rays. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And once you got your Shady Rays on, you're also going to want to choose chill with Coors Light. Make sure you're getting over to Coors Light. Of course, they're available in pretty much every liquor store in the country, but you can also get it delivered. Coors is cold, lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged to be more refreshing and a smoother finish. I got it. You can embrace a chill mindset whenever you're doing that, whether it's watching an Avalanche win or just hanging out with some fellas. It's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. So go get with them. CoorsLight.com/DNVR to get it delivered right to your front door thanks to Instacart. If you're lazy like me, you don't even have to get up off your couch to get the Coors delivered. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold and ready to drink. You can probably even leave them outside these days in Colorado. It's finally getting cold. So you can choose chill and make sure that your beers are ice cold. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill and get yourself some Coors Light. Again, get Coors Light delivered straight to your front door when you visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR and choose chill. Of course, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please celebrate responsibly. Second period. Hi, Tiff. The DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. That's the person controlling all the questions. So let's get into all of our Twitter questions. Thank you again, everyone, for responding. First one comes from Eddie. Who would play each current Av in a biopic about this team? I don't know that I have any great answers for this, but I know for sure that Gabe Landeskog would be played by Gabe Landeskog, because no one else can play Gabe Landeskog.
Do you remember, was it like the late 90s, early 2000s when Eddie Murphy was making those movies where Eddie Murphy played all the characters?
Sure.
So I think Gabe Landeskog can play himself, and then we'll just go with Ryan Gosling playing all the others.
I'm down. I'm in for this. Except for one, like, someone random. Brent Burns has to be played by Danny DeVito, and everyone else can be Ryan Gosling.
Danny DeVito! Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Just doesn't look anything
Brindley.
like him.
No, Gavin
Sure.
Brindley can be played by Danny DeVito.
Sure. They're the same height. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I also like this suggestion. We can get all of the Skarsgårds
Sure.
to play various Avalanche players. That also sounds good.
I don't even know who the Skarsgårds are, so. I mean, I'm sure I would know them if I saw them, but actor names never have a chance.
I can never keep them straight which one's actually which, except the old one is Stellan. That's it.
Okay.
He's the dad. He has, I think, 8 kids, and I think 6 of them are actors or actresses, and one of them is in casting. So it's like a whole family of people in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, give me 6 months to grow my beard back out. I could play Brent Burns. It's true. Azure.
Now you guys know about the Skarsgårds.
True. All right. That's a fun one. Next question. This one, should we be concerned with Olofsson's drop-off in production, or is that just the life of a third liner? I think that says Dean. Thank you, Dean.
Both, sort of. You should be a little bit concerned with the drop-off in production. It is the life of a third liner. If we're honest about it, like the 5-point game is driving a lot of his production this year. But the big difference is that the big 5-point game was something we didn't necessarily see that kind of outburst coming, but we knew Olofsson had either a couple of games of big points, or it was going to be one big game of points, because he was playing so well.
Yeah,
he was driving offense. He was getting pucks on net. He was an impact guy so many nights. and you could just feel it was like, oh my God, he's right there. It's right there. Since that big outburst, have you felt the same way?
No, but I think I've liked Olofsson's game more than some people have. There's been a trickle of points that come through assists. I think his defensive game, I'm not going to go so far as to say it's been good, but it's been serviceable. He's not killing you on the defensive side of the puck. And I think the conversation with Olofsson is less, should we be concerned? I don't think we as the Avsosphere should be concerned. But Victor Olofsson should be concerned that his job might be getting stolen.
Yeah, and I think that there's a concern there for sure. But it's also, for a third-line guy, he has more goals than hits right now.
Yeah, he's never that guy, yeah.
Right, and like that's the big problem here with Olofsson, is that he was brought in for some of that extra punch offensively, and it, like right now at best it's like a jab, like you're not getting he's not dangerous enough on a consistent enough basis. Look at Gavin Brindley last night. Maybe that's unfair because Gavin Brindley had an awesome game. But when's the last time Victor Olofsson had one of those games where you were like, even if he's not putting up points, when's the last really good Victor Olofsson game?
Full game, hard to say. He did have a breakaway the other day they didn't score on, but
yeah, I really don't know. But 5v5, is he getting shots on goal? No. He doesn't drive play. He's not a good defensive wing. You're right in that his defensive play has been better than expectation, better than his career would suggest.
Yeah.
I think that he's worked really hard on that part of his game, and he's gotten to be respectable there, where he's inoffensive. But I think it's a concern because if Ross Colton isn't playing at center, he's definitely going to be on the wing. And Gavin Brindley, as you mentioned, might just be taking his job.
Yeah.
If the Avalanche go out and get a third-line center, they go out and get a fourth-line center.
Yeah, Olofsson doesn't make a ton of sense as a fourth-line player. Like,
where does he fit into your lineup anymore? Because Gavin Brindley just is going to be a hard guy. They have the same downside. Defensively, physicality.
Yep.
But Brindley's bringing a lot more juice on a night-to-night basis. Again, easy to say after a night the night that Brindley just had, and it's the only game he's played in a while. So I'm concerned about it. I think it's a little bit of it is, this is just how it goes with guys in his position who are only averaging 13 minutes a night.
Yep.
But
I will say, in his defense, even if you take away that 5-point game, he's outproducing Jack Drury. He's outproducing Parker Kelly. If you're looking for just raw offensive numbers, there is more production there than some of the other guys in the Avs bottom six, even with the lulls in his game. And you mentioned the lack of play driving. I do think that's a big issue with Olofsson, is that he doesn't really drive any play for himself, let alone his teammates. And that can be a hard task to produce offense in the bottom six consistently if you can't drive for yourself. The other side too, though, or rather the same side maybe, I think last game was pretty telling. Kiviranta gets hurt. The Avs are spreading the minutes all over the forward lineup. They're blowing a team out. Everyone's getting a ton of minutes. Victor Olofsson, low man in the totem pole, barely breaks 10 minutes of ice time in that situation. Does not seem like a guy Bednar wants to play a ton right now.
Yeah, and I think that, you can pretty easily look, the first 10 games of the season, he was averaging a little over 14 minutes per night. Yep. Over the last 10 games, he's down to 52. Yeah. So it's not like a huge drop off, but in that same time frame, there was a 9-minute night, and then he's got 2 10-minute nights in the last week.
Yeah. So that's the way it's trending. Yeah.
Right. And look, his 6 goals, he has a 3-goal game and a 2-goal game.
Yep.
He scored goals in 3 games and three out of 31 games this season.
Yeah.
Victor Olofsson has scored goals.
You would like to spread that out a little bit more and score more.
And right. And we've always said, if he's not scoring the goals, where then the assists, he has a handful of assists.
Yep.
he has contributed. So I don't want to just completely bury the guy, but in the forward core right now, he's the most vulnerable.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, next question. This one comes from. That's the same question. This one is from Uncle Deadly. Is that what that says? I can't read the name from that far. If the Avs did end up trading Girard, what defenseman would you like in the return? And we can lump in a couple of things here. A lot of people asked about trades. I put this one in here just because right now today it feels like Girard is maybe the most expendable player to trade on the Avs lineup. The other side of this is not just defensemen, but with Bednar's comments today, they're probably looking for a 3C as well.
Yeah, I don't want to say there are a couple of defensemen that I would like to see the Avalanche target. That isn't necessarily a Girard trade.
Sure.
Sam Girard's going to have pretty good value around the league. $5 million for a second pairing defenseman isn't breaking the bank. He's also signed another year. He's only 28 years old, 27 years old.
Yeah.
I always, when these guys have birthdays, always kills me. So you're feeling comfortable with what Girard does, but Sam Malinski has a little bit of the same problem in that their skill sets are redundant to what Colorado's best players do.
Yeah.
And without the power play time, without the offensive zone starts, it's really tough to justify saying, okay, we're going to give this guy big money. We're going to give this guy a lot of minutes, because what they do with the way that they can really help a team at their full value is not necessarily going to be on display in Colorado.
Sure.
Because Cale Makar soaks up a lot of minutes and soaks up a lot of those opportunities.
The same reason why the Avs shouldn't go out and get Quinn Hughes, because he just does everything the same Makar does.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
I would say I actually think if the Canucks are looking to move Quinn Hughes and they want to continue to contend, I actually kind of like the idea of the Avs using Sam Girard in a deal with the Canucks, and trying to target Marcus Pettersson. I don't know if the Canucks have any interest in something like that.
The poor man's Hughes for them in replacement, kind of.
Exactly. He would be able to give them. It's a guy on the left that can play on the left side for them. He can really lean into the puck moving ability that he has and isn't fully able to capitalize on in Colorado. Yes, and as you say, the kind of the poor man's version of what Quinn Hughes is able to give them. And I don't want anybody to watch this and or listen to this and think that we're saying Sam Girard and Quinn Hughes are comparable, because come on,
obviously not.
But that is the kind of type of deal that I think would make sense. Does that make any sense from the Canucks if they're actually trying to continue to compete? Marcus Pettersson is a very good defensive defenseman. He's just signed for a long time, and it's just like, does he really move the needle for them? I don't know, but trying to find a fit for Girard is tricky, because you're not going to have 31 teams that are lining up for him based on their needs, based on what kind of specific archetype of player he is. So it's a tougher fit, but I would look for the guys that I would like for the Avalanche target. Marcus Pettersson. I didn't think Brett Kulak was going to be on the market, but now Brett Kulak, I would very much. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. I have really liked his game for a number of years. I am a little bit worried about it's a pretty steep fall off from the player that he has been in previous years. Yeah. They don't necessarily have to pay a ton for that. So I would be interested there. And then the other Penguin that we just keep talking about, Parker Witherspoon.
Yep.
That's another
PW.
One. Those are guys that I'm keeping an eye on. Those aren't all necessarily Sam Girard related. No. You would have to go with.
We're expanding this though, because again, a bunch of people asked us about trades, and I kind of lumped them all in. Any 3Cs on the target range?
Yeah, but that's I assume we have another trade question somewhere in this pile, or is this it?
I think I lumped them all into this one. There might be one more. I forget though.
Okay. The 3Cs are tough because I think it starts with Ryan O'Reilly. He's the obvious answer, right?
Yep.
He's the one that everybody kind of gets really like frothy at the mouth about, where it's like he's great on faceoffs, he's great defensively, his pace is a real problem for Colorado, but could play hard minutes. My concern is the pace.
Sure. Understandable.
Because we've seen in previous years Ryan Johansson, Casey Middlestat look real bad.
We're also asking them to play up in the lineup, to be fair.
Yeah, and I mean, Casey Middlestat, they tried to get him to do exactly like what he had been doing in Buffalo, and he couldn't handle that. And now he's not even a center. So, that there are other considerations with those guys why they didn't work, but pace was part of the problem.
It was.
And you look at Ryan O'Reilly, and it's bad. And it's getting worse because he's in his mid-30s. He's never been a great skater. He's never been fleet of foot. That's only getting worse. So I'm worried about that, but he does, I mean, the intangibles, it's a fun story. The defensive acumen, the face-offs, all of that, those check a lot of boxes. But we also saw, and I don't want to make too much of it, but it is a little bit of a concern. We saw that when Toronto tried to make him a 3C, it didn't go great.
Yeah. The production wasn't awesome. Yeah.
And the Avalanche, if they put him next to Ross Colton and Gavin Brindley, that's real fun.
Yeah.
Even Ross Colton and Victor Olofsson, that's a really fun third line, and that's a really competitive third line. So I think it's really easy to dream on that lineup, but what does it cost? Can he handle playing the way that the Avalanche want to play? I keep hoping that the Isles are going to fall out of this thing because I think JG Pajot is arguably my favorite candidate for this. I've been talking.
You want to win some face-offs? My goodness,
4 months. Well, and he gives you a guy that hasn't totally hit the wall yet, and we know that the Isles and Avalanche can do some deals. We know that their front offices, if you want to look at another recent front office friends, Boston with Pavel Zacha is an interesting conversation, although Pavel Zacha, I think, is way worse than people realize.
Got to be awfully expensive for what you're getting to, price-wise, but...
Yeah. And you don't have Will Zellers to give him this time around.
Yeah,
so,
right.
The costs are all over the board. I'm worried about a guy like Braden Shen. He's been on a sharp decline, and he's signed for 3 more years or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we would have to worry too much about that one because the decline has already begun. It's not like with Nelson where we were like, we think by the end of a 3-year deal it'll be bad, but not the start of it.
Right.
And, we're seeing right now it's pretty good right now while it's going well.
I do think it's an interesting spot, too. I know you mentioned, Johansson and Middlestat not working out, but you also had someone like a Charlie Coyle who really struggled in the playoffs last year for the Avs in that 3C role. And look, better problem to be wondering about a struggling 3C than a struggling 2C. So
definitely. A guy that I would also have an interest in, but I also have pace and health questions. Boone Jenner.
Yeah, the health is tough.
We know that Colorado and Columbus have been good friends in the past, but Boone Jenner is a guy. The intangibles, the leadership. He's pretty cheap, contract wise. So there's a lot of upside there, but some significant downsides that at least give you a little bit of pause.
Yep.
So I think those are the 3C conversations for me today. There's a lot of interesting ones. We could literally go through every single team and go, this makes sense. This would make sense.
We will closer to the trade deadline.
Yeah. Exactly.
Today, we're keeping the options open a little bit today. Don't take anything too serious, especially because literally no one but Buffalo is out of it in the East. That division conference, who knows who's going to fall out over the next 2 months. Could lead to some interesting options. But we do need to take our second break of the show. So let's hit up a few more of our sponsors. Get with our sponsor, the Colorado Soccer Association. It's the official hub for over 65 soccer clubs around the state. It offers programs for youth players, adult players, coaches, referees, and even families who want to get involved in the game. Kids can kick off their soccer journey as early as age 3. Whether you're playing for fun, competing at the highest level, or exploring a career in soccer, there's something for everyone. And you can be a part of history. The 2026 World Cup is about 6 months away at this point. It's here in the U.S., and we have a new NWSL team here in Colorado, the Denver Summit. Me and my wife already have season tickets, so you got to get in on that. There's never been a more exciting time to play, cheer, and be a part of the soccer buzz. So go check it out, learn a little bit for yourself, and get all of the good info when it comes to soccer in Colorado. If you want to get involved, you can visit coloradosoccer.org to find a club near you and be a part of the future of the game. Again, families, kids, whatever it might be, the Colorado Soccer Association helps everyone get into the sport of soccer. And once you're in soccer, you're going to be taking probably a lot of pictures of your kids. That's the reality of it. That's where Aura Frames will help you out. You can get all of those pictures framed nicely in a beautiful digital picture frame, or maybe you send this as a Christmas gift to your in-laws like I did. We got one. They absolutely love it. You can download the Aura app as well to hook up your phone to it, and you can just upload pictures from anywhere at any time. Keep your family updated on all the cool stuff that your own family is doing. It's a great way to just keep everybody connected. You can even play short videos on the Aura Frame. It's absolutely awesome. I highly recommend it because I like living in the future where we have videos and not pictures. It's a fantastic gift to give for anyone, but they will sell out fast. So make sure you're getting over to auraframes.com and doing what you need to do to get it as a gift. It comes with an included gift box, and you can even set it up before you give it with a QR code on the box to preload pictures on it, so it will be a customized personal gift. For a limited time, save on that perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com, and you get 35% off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code DNVR at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code DNVR. Again, it'll sell out fast for the holidays. Let them know we sent you. Support us by mentioning the show at checkout. Of course, terms and conditions apply. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. Keep the questions rolling, I guess.
Yeah, hit me.
That's our YouTube.
Content.
How much would allowing Makar to roam the zone as he does 5-on-5 improve the power play instead of stapling him to the point?
I think you need to do that with McKinnon more than Makar. I'm fine with Makar being where he is, although I do think that moving him along the half wall where he can get his shot closer is a fun idea. But we saw even last night the disallowed power play goal. Where's McKinnon? It's not on the half wall. That's a Necas one-timer, and McKinnon is nowhere to be found.
Yep.
Like, I think McKinnon is he's such a gravitational force that defenses will naturally just latch on to wherever he is, that wherever he goes, the PK goes with him. And I think taking advantage of that, and I've said this for years, the way that Connor McDavid moves around for the Oilers is how the Avalanche should use McKinnon more. My problem there is I'm not sure McKinnon has that in the bag. I'm not sure he's going to be comfortable with that. I'm not sure he can do that. I don't know that he would be as effective.
Sure.
But the way that he breaks down PKs and the way that he sees the game and his creativity, his ability to make something happen with the puck when it may not necessarily be there. If he's moving around constantly, the PK can't just stand still.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a lot of PKs have been very successful against the Avalanche this year. Frankly, by standing
doing
there.
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, the Avalanche aren't going to actually try and break us down. They're not going to do anything to stress us out. They're going to keep the puck on the outside and chill. Thanks.
You guys go ahead and do that. Easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 things that I would do that I think you're down to trying to fix this PP at this point is Makar just has to score goals. Like, he just has to be a genuine scoring
puck
threat
go
from
net,
up there
for
again.
sure.
And I would move McKinnon around, and I would keep Necas on the half wall. He's got a better one-timer than Nate, in my opinion.
A lot, I think.
He fans on it a lot.
But when
So
he
does
connects,
Nate.
yeah.
It's like there isn't like an amazing option there. And they miss the Rantanen and Drouin on that left side without having that set trio that you can really rely upon.
Yep.
I would start moving McKinnon around.
A fair point. We can go to our next question because I think it sticks with the power play here as well. If this power play is still struggling throughout the playoffs, can the Avalanche overcome it and still win a cup?
Is it still struggling to the same pace?
Sure.
Or is it like, if it's at like 20%? And if the real thing with the power play is, if the PK is going to be perfect, I believe the Avalanche are fine, regardless of where the power play is. If the Avalanche can get every single game, or as many games as possible, into a battle of who's better at 5v5, I love Colorado's.
They'll win, yeah.
I love their chances.
Well,
the power play and what we've seen with Dallas so far this year is, their 5v5 play is a little spotty and at times flat out sucks. Well, their power play makes up for it.
Yeah.
You saw last night, they lost to Minnesota. What happened? They scored on the power play. They scored a shorthanded goal. No 5v5 goals.
Yep.
They're not a great 5v5 team right now. And that's where the power play can be a great equalizer. So if the Avalanche, honestly, they can win a Stanley Cup, but they are going to need their penalty kill to be damn near perfect, which is not like an ideal situation to be in. But their PK has been very good. So
your 20% mark is, I think, correct. You don't need the Avs power play to be very good. You just need it to be average.
I'm not asking for it to be special.
Right.
Just get to 20.
And that jump is not that big. If the Avs have 3 or 4 more power play goals this year, they're in the ballpark of middle of the league, and you're going, this is all right. The other side of that is, and we've talked about this many playoff runs, the deeper you get in the playoffs, the less they start calling penalties. At the start of the playoffs, they call a ton. In round 1, they call a ton. But by the time you make it to the conference finals, those power play opportunities are fewer and further between.
And deeper into series in particular.
Yeah.
When you get into games 5, 6, 7, it doesn't even matter what round you're in. Power plays just go away as series go on.
Yep. So if the Avs can get deeper into things, maybe that power play has less impact if it is bad. Keep it rolling here. Next question. That's the same one again. How do the Avs compare to last year's team in terms of posts hit per 60?
Rudo, you track posts. I don't. This is yours.
I haven't tracked them as closely this year, mostly because there's been a lot less.
Anecdotally, it feels way less than previous seasons.
It is. 24-25 was outrageous, the number of posts that they hit, like genuinely bonkers numbers of, if you're counting crossbars too. It was over 100 in the regular season. And I know NHL counts them differently because I count posts as like, technically the goalie saved it and then it hit the post. So the NHL won't see the numbers the same way that I do. But it is significantly reduced, the number of posts the Avs hit. I will say I do think you can look at that 2 ways. Is it the Avs are shooting better, which their shooting percentage is very high this year because they're actually putting the puck in the net? Or is it the Avs are missing by more and they're missing wide instead of hitting the post? There's kind of 2 ways to look at that. But for whatever reason, the post counts have been significantly reduced for the Avs this year.
For the record, I'm counting all strengths here. The Avalanche are 8th in shooting percentage this season.
Yeah, quite high.
It's not even like they are like at a historic rate. Like what Dallas is doing right now as a team, all strengths 13.28%.
That's outrageous.
That will not continue. The Avalanche at where are they 11.58 is high, but it's not historically high.
To be fair, they are one of the highest at 5-on-5 where they actually score goals, and the power play just brings that number down. But
Correct.
It's the way it goes, though.
They are fourth in 5v5 at 10.77. Dallas is second at 11.24. Just
it is true in the Toyota chat. Mike has been tracking the stick breaks this year, and that has absolutely replaced the number of post hits that the Avs have had. The stick break numbers are out of control this season. Anyway, we can move on to the next question. Which forward line is each of the following players on come game one of the playoffs? Brindley, Drury, Nichushkin, Olofsson, Landeskog.
Brindley 3, Drury 4, Nichushkin 2, Olofsson healthy scratch, Landeskog 2.
I think that's correct.
If Olofsson is on the team.
Sure.
I'm not saying that I think it's a high likelihood that he moves or anything. Just if they are going to make a move for a 3C, they might.
If someone gets thrown into a deal, yeah.
Like I said, I think he's the one most in danger here.
I think you're correct, and that was also the Avs lineup yesterday, except for Olofsson being a scratch. That
lineup, I think, if you look at the lineup from last night. Instead of Kiviranta, it's Logan O'Connor.
Of course.
Assuming health.
Yeah.
So I do think there is a fun conversation to be had about who the Avalanche could target to try and goose that third line if they want Olofsson to be more of a depth guy, to be more of if you have a top 9 injury, Olofsson can slide in.
Sure.
And they like Ross Colton enough at center that it's Colton and Brindley.
Yeah,
that they're kind of building around, then you're able to target a lot of wing options, which makes your life much easier. And we've seen Ross Colton has been good at center when he's needed to be, and he's a solid face-off guy.
Is this Tyler Toffoli's music?
Oh, brother. I had a different name in mind, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was thinking Blake Coleman.
Yeah, sure. All right. Well, we can dream on occasion. If everything goes great, the Avs just get more wingers.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's dreaming. Just that's a guy I know the Avs have previously liked a lot and could fit. And would be coming from a team that might be looking to sell.
Fair enough.
That's all.
Yeah.
He's also pace problems. He's slowed way down.
Yeah, well, so does Tyler Toffoli, so.
Tyler Toffoli didn't slow down. That's just, he was a 36-year-old man when he was 26.
I meant pace problems. That's all.
Tyler Toffoli's so fascinating because, yeah, his foot speed, pace problems, but he's so smart.
Yeah, his brain plays fast.
Yeah, doesn't matter. And Ryan O'Reilly got away with that for a long time in his career. If you wanted to argue that he could overcome that in Colorado, I would listen to that argument. 100%.
Sure. A luxury to be sure. We'll see what the Avs look like closer to the trade deadline. Next question. I love that you keep clicking the same one again. It amuses me. Does the advanced metrics highlight how Toews is playing more shutdown defensive hockey this year? Seems like he didn't like his play last, and I can barely read this, but he appears to forego offense to always be ready defensively. Kind of no. If you're talking about the advanced statistics, Toews on both ends of the puck has kind of just been okay this year.
This is the worst Devon Toews has ever been as an Av.
Yeah, sure. It's a good way to put
it. Purely analytically speaking, the worst he's been as an Av. And by a decent margin. It's not like there's another season that's in question. I guess it could have been last year until he hit the 40-game mark and then just started scoring all the time and his defense picked way up. You just have to hope that that's going to be the same this season because this is the worst he's been. And this was always the big concern. I say this all the time, but you have to worry about guys who are late bloomers flame out quickly.
Yep. Very short peaks. Yep.
We could be looking at that with Devon Toews. That was always going to be a concern. I don't know why that's the case. I guess if you think about it, it makes sense because guys that bloom a little bit later have a lot shorter primes.
Yep.
Guys that are that figure it out at 27 years old.
You've got 3 years
Don't
of
have
physical
10
peak.
years.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that actually makes quite a bit of sense. So I put 4 seconds of thought into it and it clicked.
I will say in defense of Toews, you will still see multiple plays a night where he has a great stick and breaks something up and does that quality defensive stuff. But there has been a lot more instances, and this is not solely on Toews. This is somewhat on Cale Makar too. They've gotten hemmed in their zone this year a good number of times.
When we talk about deadline additions and guys to bring in, I think bringing somebody in that can take some of the heavy lifting away from Devon Toews and occasionally play alongside Cale Makar is something that they need to strongly consider.
Yeah.
Being able to have another guy that can help him out with that job, because there are now whole nights where Devon Toews doesn't have it, and the coaching staff needs to see that and go, all right, we got to change this up.
Whop it up. Yep.
We got to change this up.
Keep it. How many more questions we got? A handful.
I really wanted that to be the same one. I really did.
Other than special teams, what do we need to finally get past Dallas in the playoffs? How concerned should we be with the long Olympic break and the players that will be going to come back and be ready for regular season play? That's a lot of extra hockey, potential low energy / injury risk.
How much extra hockey is it really?
For the Canada guys, probably like 7-8 games.
Yeah. So it's not a ton.
Yeah.
Of extra wear and tear. It is meaningful. Especially because the guys that are going aren't going. Like if Brock Nelson was going, he would be playing 9 minutes a night. Right. Like he'd
bottom
be a depth
6
guy, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a big deal. But all the Avs guys that are going to go are going to be, I guess Arturi Lehkonen, there's a good chance that he's more of a middle of the lineup guy. But point primarily being there's going to be a lot of extra wear and tear on them in those couple of games, and they're not just going to have 3 weeks off. Yeah, it's a concern. It's a concern that they slow down. It's a concern that the wear and tear hits around early. It's a concern that every game that you play at NHL speed against NHL competition, which is what the Olympics will be this year, that anything bad can happen. I think the Avalanche organization is going to be very supportive of all of their players that are going to the Olympics, but they're going to spend 2 weeks holding their breath and going, oh my God.
And so is every competing team in the NHL, if we're honest about it.
Absolutely. I think Florida's probably going to be less so because they're coming off 2 in a row, and they've already got a lot of injured guys, and they're just kind of like, house money.
I will say this Olympic break in this conversation is part of the reason why it's so important the Avs have had the start they did to the season. Now, I know Dallas is right there, but when you get past the All-Star break or the Olympic break and you look at the schedule, especially if the Avs can find a way to maybe scrape another couple of points ahead on Dallas, if they can turn 6 points into 8 into 10, because they do have a game in hand right now, you're going to see some load management at the end of this season. It's going to happen. I almost guarantee it that guys are going to get days off and you're going to see that happen. So that does, I think, lower the load a little bit for a team like Avs and Dallas who aren't scrapping to make sure they secure a playoff spot. But yeah, it's a concern. And the reality is, as a fan of hockey, it's absolutely a concern that's worth it to watch the best players play in the Olympics.
Yep. And the Olympics means something different to them. It means something different to almost all of us.
Yep.
There's just a different level of rooting pride and love of the game. I think the Olympics for the players, it's about the national pride. And of course, on some level, so is rooting for a team. But I think it's also a lot of you want to see best on best. And this is a great format to see it.
Yep.
Country versus country, because again, it just means a little something more to everybody. You're playing for everybody.
Yeah.
In that country, right? Like you're representing everybody. Not just I'm trying to get me a Stanley Cup and I'm trying to think, I'm getting the Stanley Cup ring for my dad and my mom who drove me to the rink every day, all those hours. It's for everybody. You know, it's for everybody in your town. It's for everybody in your state. It's just a different feel. And that best on best, it hits different.
Never thought I'd die side by side with a Stars fan, but I could die side by side with an American.
And it's, you know, obviously it's such a politically charged world that we're in
of
right
course.
now. It's a little awkward, but Stars and Stripes, baby.
Yep.
I'm rooting for I'm excited to root for the United States. There are a bunch of guys on that team that I think are not great and I wouldn't want to hang out with. Oh yeah. But
that doesn't matter on the ice though.
Yeah, man. You're wearing USA on the front. I got that on my heart. Let's do this.
Next question. When is the last time the Avs goalie stole a game in the playoffs?
I went and looked this up.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a statistical way to tell, like, stole a game, but I basically just went through and was like, what's a relatively low-scoring game where the Avalanche goaltender had to face more shots than the other guy?
Sure.
Pretty simple, right? You know the last time?
My anecdotal thought was one of the first 4 games of the Dallas series last year. No, you got to go back.
Nope. You have to go back because it's tough. Like Mackenzie Blackwood had the shutout, right? Against the Stars last year.
But it's like you win anyway.
Scored,
like, I get
they
it.
Kind of dominated that game. Like, they were the better team. So it's like you don't really think of those as stealing a game.
Sure.
The last time that I thought that the Avs, that statistically speaking, the Avs got like way outplayed and their goaltender really had to be special. 2021, Philip Grubauer, game 2 against Vegas.
Yeah, sure. And then they immediately fell apart, but you know.
Yeah, well, that was the last great game that Philip Grubauer played for the Avs.
Sure. Yeah. It's tough to steal games when your team is so dominant offensively.
Yeah. When your team is the better team more nights, more often than not, or at least like even.
Yep.
We've had there were a lot of losses where it was like, oh, well, they gave up 3 goals, you know, and they lost 3-1 or 3-2, something like that. That was the last time that I could find that the Avs got like buried
and survived.
in shots and won a game, like a low scoring game.
Keep going. Got a couple more here with a few minutes left. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes. Final answer.
I would say no. It's a movie that takes place during Christmas. Doesn't make it a Christmas movie. Christmas movies are about family and they're about tradition and they're about heartwarming. Die Hard isn't really that.
Christmas movies are any movies you watch at Christmas.
Okay, but that could be any movie.
Correct.
Okay, so Christmas movies mean nothing to you. Got it.
Correct.
I understand that I should have known that would have been your take going in.
You should have. Yeah.
Not such a sentimental person. I should have known.
Any more? 2 more? 1 more? Something like that? I don't know. Not hockey related. What is your favorite holiday dish and what's your least favorite?
Thanksgiving is my favorite meal, so my favorite like holiday dish is stuffing. I love stuffing. Just put that in front of me and just. Also, one of my girlfriend's aunts makes amazing sweet potatoes that I just would not stop eating on Thanksgiving. So there's that. If it has to be Christmas specific, I don't know that there is one because I don't really know of a Christmas specific dish. Like that was never a meal in my house. It was always your mileage may vary kind of thing.
Very much a canned cranberry sauce guy. Far better than homemade. For Christmas, my family wouldn't do like a traditional thing. We'd always make shrimp scampi for Christmas. So I really like that.
Yum.
Yeah, it's good. It's just not a normal like Christmas thing. I don't know. But
yeah,
for dislike, I do not like ham.
I don't like turkey.
We'll call it even.
Yeah. We'll eat something else on Christmas. You and I, we can eat something else. We can eat shrimp scampi. Sounds
apparently,
amazing. Yeah.
That's what.
If tamales are on the table, I'm in. I love tamales.
We are about to head into overtime here, so the conversation continues online at thednvr.com, but we do have some more questions to get to here. Starting with, do our eyes deceive us with Necas? He looks terrible, constantly turning the puck over, chooses to make low percentage passes instead of shoot. He has his one backward 360 move, but then again, he seems like a monster when you look at total season points.
I think this is one of those things when a guy plays with the puck all the time, he makes a lot of mistakes because the NHL is real hard.
Yep.
And those feel very amplified versus the two really nice plays that he makes that turn into assists.
Yeah.
Because he has 90 puck touches in that game, and he makes a handful of turnovers, but only a couple of them turn into goals. Then you start to feel like, God, this guy, he's not very good, but Necas has made a number of really, really good plays with the puck recently. And it's such an interesting, because watching him, he drives me a little nuts because of this exact thing where I'm like, what are you doing?
He's absolutely got some Mikko in him in that regard. Yeah. The guy who will frustrate you but finds his way to points. And that same frustration with Mikko. Mikko's a top 5 winger in the league, certainly top 10 winger in the league. And I think Necas is, if not in that conversation, on the cusp of it. He's a really, really good hockey player. Yes. Does he make dumb decisions sometimes? Absolutely. Does he try to do the pretty pass a little bit too often? Sure. But he produces enough that more than makes up for that. And also just don't have him be the F3. He can't be the last forward back. This is not what he does.
Yeah. If he's the trailer, you need to just eat the puck and rim it.
Yep.
Don't do that. Yeah, I think Necas is really, really good. A lot of Mikko in his game is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
He has the puck a lot, so he makes a lot of mistakes with it. Everybody does. McKinnon does it all the time too.
Yep.
All the best players in the world, they're trying to make things happen. The NHL is really hard.
I also think this conversation has been amplified over the last 4 or 5 games because Necas has been visibly sick for this stretch of hockey, and that has not helped his game at all.
It definitely has not helped the perception of his game. We are looking at it going, okay. But then, somebody mentioned in the Toyota chat, he's got 10 points in his last 5 games. Like, he's been on absolute fire.
Yep.
Producing points. And you look at it, and how many of those are super cheap points? It's not many.
A few, like but there's some
good
ones.
That he gets to Brent Burns in the Philadelphia
that was really
game.
Nice. Yeah.
Great patience.
Yep.
Like some of those assists are that you want him to shoot. He holds onto the puck a little too long, and then he makes a great pass, and it turns into a goal, and you're like, that's the patience.
Yeah,
like, that's
can't be mad at that. Yep.
Right. Like, that's, upside and downside. He's going to make the wrong play sometimes, but damn, does he make some good plays with the puck.
I think we have a couple of questions from the live chat very quickly here, and then we'll get out of here. AJ, now that you're in Connecticut, have you made it to Middletown for the steamed cheeseburger regional delicacy?
No, I don't spend very much time in Middle Connecticut, where we like to spend a lot of our time. If we go elsewhere, we like to go to Eastern Connecticut and hang out, like Mystic, New London, et cetera, et cetera. Uncasville, obviously, for Mohegan Sun. What's up?
Why get steamed cheeseburgers when you can get Connecticut pizza?
Or, oh my God, you're not kidding. And you're not kidding.
And then Azare says, okay, I have a question. I know I'm weird, but in team sports only, does bronze feel better than silver to anyone else? You win bronze in hockey, you get silver for losing.
Yeah. It feels better to win a medal for winning something than losing something.
Yeah. There have been studies done on this. Weirdly, a thing that I've looked into before. Almost in every event, the bronze medal winner is almost always more happy than the silver medal winner. which, it's human nature. You don't feel good about losing. And down the line, the silver medal winners will be plenty happy with what they achieved. But in the moment of earning the medals, the third place team is almost always, in some cases, more happy than the teams that win gold.
And I know that this question is built around team sports, but watch the families of the individual sport athletes.
Yep.
And when they get silver medals, thrilled.
Yep.
Watch the families of the team sports athletes that get silver medals, heartbroken.
Devastated. Yep.
Proud, but heartbroken.
Yep.
And it's just, the psychology of it is just so totally different. Individuals, they're just like, I just want a medal. If I get a gold, amazing.
I mean, it depends on the individual. They're, you look, Simone Biles goes in and anything that isn't gold is disappointment, right?
Of course. I mean, like, you're talking like the all-time
right.
Michael Phelps, like the all-time great Olympic athletes. Yeah, if they're not, they don't have that picture at the end where they've got 5 gold medals hanging around their neck. They're like, what happened here? Come on.
But yeah, for just random Olympic athlete, a bronze medal is like likely to be one of the best finishes of their lives, if not the best. So
yeah. Somebody bringing up the 1976 U.S. men's basketball team. That's because that was stolen. That's as stolen a medal as has ever been stolen. The only one that would be comparable that I can think of off the top of my head was when I think it was like the couple skating, the Canadians and the Russians tied because they had a couple of the judges were shady and paid off and they were just tanking the Canadian scores. That's the only one I can think of. And I don't even remember the year of it.
I think it was 2004 where the boxing was super duper rigged or something. Maybe it was
the boxing. Yeah, we should ask Ryan O'Hara about this. He would know better than us. The boxing has a very shady history.
Yes. And then, just don't look at all the PEDs all the track and field athletes are doing, and it's fine.
Frankly, it is fine. I want to see that. I want to see that javelin just leave the stadium. Let's go. Do all the PEDs.
You and Fred Curley at the advanced games or whatever they're called. Anyway.
Get crazy with it.
That's all we got here. AJ, any final thoughts on the Avs here?
I mean, the same as always. They're really good. They're really fun. And I think that we have a really fun deadline ahead of us because the Avalanche don't have hyper...
it's all luxury.
They don't have high-end needs.
Yep.
They have very niche needs, very specific areas of the team that they can improve. And funny enough, I don't think that there's a single addition that they can make that will improve the power play. That's just got to be on the guys that are already there.
Just do better.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll end it there. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us for this one. Back tomorrow for another game day, pregame, watch along, postgame. Join us. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.